In this video, I'm going to talk about how you get your dream job. For many people, this week is the first week of college classes for the year. And so I wanted to make a series of videos just for you college students out there. One thing that a lot of college students think about is getting a job after graduation. And so I'm going to make a video series over the next couple of weeks on how you get your dream job. When I think back over my own career up until this point, I have been very lucky on having a lot of different jobs that I really found meaningful and I enjoyed. I have had the opportunity to have several dream jobs, and I've been thinking about this, and I'm starting to realize that this is not most people's experience. Most people never get their dream job. And so I've been thinking about what is it that I was doing differently, and I've narrowed it down to three main concepts. And I think these three main concepts, if you understand them, will help you get to where you want to be in your career. And so what I'm going to do in these videos is I'm going to share with you some personal stories of when I was first starting out in my career, what I did differently. And so these are going to be very practical videos that will give you some useful tips on starting out your career. So first, I'd like to define what we're talking about here. What is a dream job? So a dream job for me is a job that you feel excited about, you're inspired by, and you look forward to going into work every day. That's a dream job. It's about finding work that you find meaningful. For me, that's being an accountant. But it's probably different for each one of you watching this video. So part of the deal here is finding out what it is for you personally that's going to be your dream job. Now, we have to be very careful here because we are talking about something very specific. You need to be very focused on what it is that you want, because what I'm going to be talking about in these videos is not an easy solution. It's not a quick solution. It is going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and time and effort. So you need to be really focused on what it is that you want to do as a dream job. I think a good place to start here is to talk about priorities. And I think life is really very simple here. If you prioritize and focus on what you really want out of life, you're more likely to get it because you're going to make sacrifices in other areas to prioritize what it is you really want. So when we're talking about dream jobs, the obvious contrast here is with money. So we're not talking about making the most money possible. We're talking about finding a meaningful job. And those are two very different things. This is a really important distinction to make because what's going to happen to every one of you probably at some point in your careers is you're going to be faced with a choice. You're going to have the option to choose two different jobs. And one of the jobs will make a lot of money, but you're not interested in doing the work. And the other job will make a lot less money, but you really want that job. So when you're faced with this choice, which one do you choose? And it's exactly that choice that we're talking about in this video. That is what I mean when I say you're choosing your priorities and you're choosing what you want to get out of life. Do you want the money or do you want the dream job? And it's not always mutually exclusive, but you need to understand what your priorities are and if this is even important to you. It might not be important to you to get a dream job. So this is what we're going to do in this first video, is you're going to understand what your own personal priorities are. What I want you to do is to take out a piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, on one side, I want you to write down your dream job. And I'm betting you already know what it is because you probably wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't have some idea of what it is you wanted to do with your life. So on one side of the paper, write down your dream job. And on the other side of the paper, I'm going to list out some other items for you to write down. So I want you to write down these words: money, family, traveling, free time, and location. Now take a look at this paper and ask yourself, are you willing to prioritize your career over some of these other areas? Are you willing to sacrifice not traveling as much? Are you willing to take the job for less money to do what you really want? Are you willing to sacrifice when it comes to family time in order to work the hours you need to work? These are all very difficult questions, and you need to decide up front, are you willing to make the sacrifice? And only then are you ready to move on to step one in how to get your dream job. I think it's very important to just realize that you have an option here. You do not have to prioritize your career. You do not even have to have a dream job. You can get a job that you find mediocre and focus on exploring some of these other areas of your life. Focus on traveling. Focus on having a big family. Those are meaningful choices. So I can only speak from my own experience of being an accountant, and that's my dream job. And I've spoken in other videos that I've posted about some of the challenges of being an accountant. I made a video on the CPA exam, and the CPA exam is difficult. If you are planning on passing that test, you are going to have to make sacrifices in some of these other areas of your life if you're going to pass. That's just the reality. And so if you're wanting to get some of these dream jobs, you're going to have to put in the work and realize that you're going to have to prioritize to make that possible. To finish, let's talk about why I think it's important that we talk about dream jobs and why this is so important. You know, Gallup did a poll not that long ago, and they found that 71% of Americans were disengaged from their work. Either they were not engaged or they were actively disengaged in their work. Most people do not like their jobs. And this is a very huge problem that I am shocked that we as a society do not address. People are unhappy in their work. And as a business person, this kills me because we know that the happier you are, the more productive you are. When you're leading an organization, you want people working for you who enjoy their work and who are passionate about their jobs. And so I do think that people have this responsibility to find out what they're passionate about, find out what their dream job is, and then go after that. And we as a society will be better off. Our businesses will make more money, and we will all have more profitability. So that's it for this first video. I want you to spend some time thinking about this and then come back for next week's video where I'm going to give you step one of how to get your dream job. In step one, we're going to talk about resume tips, and I'm going to talk about what I call the ultimate resume paradox. If you think it's important to get your dream job, go ahead and leave it in the comment below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, if you found it helpful, click on the subscribe button. I release a new video every week on accounting and corporate finance, so come back and check out next week's video.